Just days after an explosive WrestleMania kickoff event in Las Vegas, WWE rolled into the legendary Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky for a jam-packed episode of Raw, featuring an appearance by the man who will battle Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 40 for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Cody Rhodes. What did the American Nightmare have to say about his confrontation with The Rock, which ended with him being slapped in the face by the Great One? Find out now with this recap of tonight's show. The Elimination Chamber qualifying matches and a gigantic six-man tag team showdown pitting event Jey Uso and the New Day against all three members of Imperium. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streamer.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off an abbreviated Raw chat tonight. We didn't have a full Raw chat. We had an abbreviated one. It was more like a half Raw chat if you really think about it. But nonetheless, let's dive on into our first action of the night. And it is hard to believe, but a rarity on Monday Night Raw this evening. We actually started with a match. That's right. It started with a match, not a segment. Six-man tag team action. Imperium squaring off against Jey Uso and the New Day. Jey Uso and the New Day win the match. 19 minutes and 45 seconds. You could easily make an argument for Fight of the Night on this if you wanted to. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. The six-man tag had quality in-ring action throughout, with Imperium controlling the pace and isolating Kofi Kingston throughout. Energetic opener. It had the crowd hot throughout and brought Jey Uso and Gunther together between the ropes for the first time on WWE television. Obviously, a championship committee moment here because of Uso winning. That match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship will have the potential to be one of the hottest. Much of that can be attributed to the work that has been done to establish Jey Uso as his own man, a crowd favorite, and Gunther as the seemingly unbeatable champion. Pat McAfee on commentary said Kofi's been around for what feels like 3 generations. He's not wrong, nor is it a bad thing. Given the history of wars between the New Day and the Usos, the idea of Kofi and Xavier teaming with Jey Uso feels surreal. Maybe even a little wrong, but the chemistry is there. And Jey Uso made like his cousin The Rock and slapped the taste out of Gunther's face. Must be a bloodline thing. 4.25, teetering on 4.5 stars, and a lot of people had called for this maybe to be at WrestleMania. Some had called maybe for the Elimination Chamber. No, neither. Next Monday night on Raw, from the Honda Center, formerly the Pond in Anaheim, California, Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against main event Jey Uso. Oh, wait till you hear what else we have in store for next Monday night on Raw. You remember I said last Wednesday's AEW Dynamite was like a mini pay-per-view? Well, next Monday's Raw is loading up to be a mini pay-per-view. And there's one of the reasons why. But wait till you hear what else we have in store. So 4.25, 4.5. You could make the argument for Fight of the Night here. I would not be mad at you whatsoever. So nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher right on cue. Six-man tag. Jey Uso and the New Day win it. 19:45, almost 20 minutes.
Something you don't necessarily see in this day and age is that kind of a match, that kind of level of a match. And to get it on free TV, hey, props to WWE for that one, man. Good job, Triple H and the crew. You made us very proud with this matchup. This was a hell of a fight. Great jump off to the show. I gotta say, 4.25. Definitely, you got it right, Anthony Florio. This had energy. This had fire. This had passion. Great professional wrestling. I really got nothing bad to say here. So, with that said, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's a rarity we get a match and a very good match to start off Monday Night Raw. I mean, I don't think you could have asked for any more than what we got out of this. So props to all these men for giving us a match that we all enjoyed here. So yeah, 4.25, 4.5. I would have to say it's definitely one of the top fights of the night, if not the fight of the night. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to add on to it. So let's move on, Florio.
And MF will lead off on our next match. A men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. The almighty Bobby Lashley squaring off against Big Bronson Reed. Bobby Lashley wins the match, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. MF, the almighty, on his way to the Elimination Chamber. And oddly enough, not Bronson Reed. He's from Australia. Little mind-boggling here.
Yeah, a little bit of a shocker. He didn't get in here. About 2.25, 2.5 is my rating for the match. This was the one that me and a member of the 2184 crew, Bill McConnell, we said this was big meaty boys, and boy, they were slapping meat on this one. This was a be a man fight, as we would normally say. This was a solid matchup, good battle. Could have been better in certain areas, however, it served its purpose. For I have to say, it is a little bit of a surprise to see Bobby Lashley go over and get the golden ticket to the chamber, but it's not completely out of the question. But we'll wait and see what happens. We still got about a couple of weeks before we get to chamber, so for Lashley to get through, hey, good matchup. So nothing more to say, Michael Bullock. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little surprising. I mean, like you said, with Bronson Reed from Australia, I thought he would go over, and here's another reason why I thought maybe Bronson Reed would go over. Not just because he's from Australia, but let's not forget, guys, who Bobby Lashley is feuding with right now.
That being the Final Testament.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, that's the other thing that's surprising. I mean, because of his feud with the Final Testament, I thought perhaps this would be the opportunity to have Bronson Reed go to the Elimination Chamber in front of his home country. But that's a little puzzling there. I mean, it's still a good match. 2.25, 2.5, but yeah, it's a little puzzling with this with the outcome, but it is what it is. So it's yours, Florio.
Well, I have two reasons why. First off, I think they want to save the big country pop for Rhea. I mean, Rhea's the far bigger star than Bronson Reed when it comes to the land down under. And they want to save that pop for Rhea Ripley. And the second reason, they want to make this men's Elimination Chamber match maybe the most star-studded. Think about the names you got in here. You already got Drew McIntyre. You got Randy Orton. And now you're going to add Bobby Lashley to that. And we got another qualifier that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But first, let's get into my thoughts on this one. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star for me. Mostly okay match. It highlighted Bronson Reed's ability to dominate any match while proving that the Almighty can still fight from underneath and win and come from behind fashion. With that said, at some point, Reed has to win. That or the concept of him as this monster heel who can be taken seriously against top stars is null and void. fans know how often he has these matches, and more importantly, how often he loses them. Ultimately, the greatest attribute in his current role will cease if he does not pick up at least a quality win here or there. That did not happen here tonight. Lashley delivered a hellish suplex to Reed that turned the tide of the bout, and that's only the only real significant highlight of that. So, 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. Then there was with Sami Zayn, like they did a week ago in St. Louis. They did it again here in tonight, and it's definitely leading to some big moment for Sami Zayn. And who knows? Could it possibly lead to Sami Zayn challenging maybe Gunther at WrestleMania? Very possible. We'll have to wait and find out. Then we had the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. What do you guys want to talk about? And he got interrupted by the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said other than segment of the night here. I think I speak on behalf of all of us here, but Michael Bullock, I mean, this was right around the time where we started our abbreviated Raw chat, and boy howdy, I mean, Cody Rhodes, getting interrupted by Seth Rollins. I mean, they released the WrestleMania 40 trailer just before the Super Bowl last night, and you noticed on one side you had Roman Reigns and The Rock, and on the other side you had Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And speculate on that if you will, but or read into that what you will out there. But nonetheless, Michael Bullock, what a segment. Yes, Cody had his moment, but let's be realistic. This was Seth Rollins' segment here tonight. I mean, absolutely fantastic segment of the night, hands down.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, this is this is indeed the segment of the night. I mean, yes, Cody did his usual thing, but Seth freaking Rollins was the MVP. I mean, he said, "Look, I understand why you chose Roman, because you have to finish the story, not just for you, not just for your family, but also for me and for these fans. And I don't want you to fight alone. I'm going to be by your side." So I wonder if Seth freaking Rollins is going to be in the corner of Cody Rhodes for the match at WrestleMania. So, and yeah, and Seth even said, "Hey, I helped create Roman Reigns, but I didn't think he would become the monster that he is today. And now you got a two-headed monster in The Rock." So you can just see how impassioned he was during this. That's why he is the guy right now for Monday Night Raw as the World Heavyweight Champion. So we'll see how this all plays out. So yeah, so great segment. Cody was good, Florio, but the MVP of that segment was Seth freaking Rollins.
Absolutely, he was. This was a hell of a promo from Seth Rollins, who laid out the next chapter of the story, establishing a partnership between him and Cody Rhodes, a united front in the face of The Rock and Roman Reigns standing side by side. This is likely the setup for what was hinted at in the WrestleMania teaser trailer, which seemed to point to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. How we get there and still have Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed title remains to be seen. Cody warned The Rock, "You put your hands on me. You slap me in the face in public. And what that means is I'm going to hit you back." Rollins said to Cody, "You need to finish your story for your dad, for me, for everyone here tonight." And Rollins did an excellent job of adding gravity to this situation and making the union between The Rock and Roman Reigns seem like a legitimate threat to all things WWE. Fantastic segment here. Definitely the segment of the night. The only thing was Cody still didn't give us an explanation as for why a couple of weeks ago he said, not at WrestleMania, and then The Rock just showed up out of nowhere. But other than that, this was an absolutely fantastic segment. And like Michael Bullock said, Cody was good here as he always is. But in all honesty, Seth freaking Rollins was the MVP of this segment here tonight. So well done. Segment of the night, no question about it. So MF, your thoughts as Seth freaking Rollins basically said, "Yo, Cody, you don't have to go through this alone. I got you back."
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see how that plays out. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This was exactly what it needed it to be more than anything else. First off, Cody came out, started talking about, WrestleMania, everything else. But then he harkens back to what Rock said last week on the Pat McAfee show and really put my boy in a very awkward position. Even I was like, uh-oh, I remember that interview. I remember all this. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a bad night for the brand. And I can tell you right now, the way McAfee kind of played that, I don't think he had any idea that Triple H and the boys were going to use his footage and use it against them. You saw the look on McAfee's face. He was like, oh, you did that. Okay, I wonder what he's going to say tomorrow on the show, because that's going to get brought up, and he might start throwing some hay at the toxic table and the boys for getting them into that mess, because that was interesting. That was actually very interesting. After that, obviously Rollins comes out, absolutely superstar of the highest order is Seth freaking Rollins, and he was the MVP of the segment, no doubt about it. But he said what everybody was thinking: finish the story, do what you got to do, because if you don't, losing WrestleMania is a very dark place. Cody knows that pain, because he lost 1 year ago in the main event against Roman. So he's been to that heartbreak. He's been to that dark place. He's been down that road. It could be even more catastrophic if he loses this time around, because if he loses and Roman survives, I don't even know what to even say at that point. So yeah, I'm with you, Anthony. This was without a doubt a great, great, great segment. Back to you.
Yes, indeed. And as I've been saying, which started last Thursday at the kickoff press conference, this past Friday night on SmackDown, tonight on Raw, we're definitely on the verge, guys, of, without question, the greatest road to WrestleMania build in history. And segments like that go a long way towards it. Back to the action here. Second, now we go to the women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It was Liv Morgan squaring off against Zoe Stark. Winner of the match, 9 minutes and 15 seconds, and qualifying for the Women's Elimination Chamber, it was Liv Morgan. To the surprise of none of us. I'm going to give it a solid 3 for the effort here. Zoe Stark dominated, showcasing her athleticism and intensity, but Liv Morgan proved gritty and resilient, fighting from underneath and delivering the Oblivion for the win. The big story here was Liv's quest for revenge against Rhea Ripley, who injured her shoulder and put her out of action last summer. It was clear from the get-go that she was going to win this match to further that narrative, but the match did enough to highlight Zoe that one would not necessarily have been surprised to see her pull out a win. Morgan is a former champion with an easily identifiable goal. That makes sense and provides the Elimination Chamber a potential winner outside of the odds-on favorite, Becky Lynch. She is also mostly likable and is over with fans. For that reason, she was the right one to go over here, no matter how good Zoe Stark is at this point. Having Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, top contenders to the women's tag team titles, lose a consecutive week says a lot about where that particular championship stands in terms of importance. But other than that, I'm going to give it a solid 3 for the effort here, even though the outcome was never in doubt. We all knew Liv Morgan was going to win this. So right now, guys, we have Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and now Liv Morgan. Friday night on SmackDown, we have 2 more Women's Elimination Chamber qualifiers. And I'm going to be making an indemnity to the show on Friday night, and I'll explain why at the end. But when it comes to it, 2 Elimination Chamber qualifiers on the women's side Friday night. Shotzi is going to go one-on-one with Tiffany Stratton. And we're also going to see the returning Naomi square off against Zelina Vega. And then next Monday night on Raw, a last chance battle royale between all the runners-up, all the losers of the previous qualifiers. Shows Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Michin, and the losers of Shotzi and Tiffany Stratton, and the loser of Naomi and Zelina Vega will battle it out in a last chance battle royale. And whoever comes out of that battle royale will get the 6th and final spot in that women's Elimination Chamber match. Winner of that chamber match then goes on to challenge Rhea Ripley, most likely for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. So, solid 3 here. So, MF, just like with the men's chamber match, they're trying to make this women's chamber just as star-studded. Becky, Bianca, and now you can add Liv to that mix.
Yes. Look, there was a rumor going around that they accidentally leaked out the women's chamber field. I think we all kind of peeked at it. I don't know if you guys did, but I definitely did peek, and I heard about it. So it's unfortunate that happened, but at the end of the day, the one thing that we were talking about was that if you're Liv, you want the shot. You know, Liv has a great story. She has a very good storyline that if Becky, for some odd reason, does not win it, Liv would definitely be the second choice. Obviously, we don't see Bianca winning it because this is a Raw title. It could, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Where if you want to say it, I think this could be an interesting situation. Liv, obviously, getting a shot at the title would be great. Then you got certain situations. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be a good one. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. But it was still a solid 3.25 star match. Nothing more to say. Anthony, well, I should say Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3 as well. I mean, Liv Morgan now is one step closer to getting her chance at revenge against the same woman who put her out of action in Rhea Ripley. So, but we all know the odds-on favorite is going to be Becky. But if for some reason they surprise us and Becky loses, I think Liv is definitely the next option here. So 3 stars for me as well. So it's yours, Florio.
Yes. All right, we move on. R-Truth squaring off against JD McDonough. JD McDonough wins the match. 6 minutes and 55 seconds. And next week, we're going to have ourselves an 8-man tag team match. All 4 members of Judgment Day squaring off against R-Truth, The Miz, and DIY. So, JD McDonough goes over 655. MF, quick thought?
Nice win, solid victory. It does give the narrative of what, with everything that's going on. Truth is now, you could tell that Damian Priest has pretty much had enough of JD of R-Truth, and we finally see the final salvo here tonight as all 4 members are united with that attack. Great thing for DIY to come out to help R-Truth. Obviously, DIY now in line for a the tag team title shot. Well, or it's probably in play for the tag team title shot, but we'll wait and see how it plays out. I thought it was about it was okay for what it was worth, but quick thought.
Yeah, I'll give it about maybe 2, maybe 2.25 on this, but that's pretty much all I can go here. So it's yours, Florio.
2.5. I would say maybe by default the worst fight of the night. The match was mostly forgettable, with R-Truth's character work taking center stage before the impressive finisher from his opponent. The arrival of DIY suggests there is still unfinished business, and it will present itself in the form of an 8-man tag, like I said, for next week's show in Anaheim, which will be R-Truth and The Miz and DIY squaring off against Judgment Day. So we'll see how that goes. Truth calling Miz and insisting he gets to Louisville from Hollywood in time for his match, which was taking place, and then there was fun. Then and there was fun. Truth calling back to his insistence that John Cena is his childhood hero by using his signature moves. Still a fun shtick. So 2.5 by default, the worst fight of the night. Then we had another in-ring segment. Becky Lynch cutting a promo, interrupted by Nia Jax. Nia Jax had crocodile tears during this segment, and then Rhea Ripley showed up, but Nia Jax, tried to take out both women, and then we saw it. Becky and Rhea face to face. Gentlemen, I think it's very clear. They've obviously given away the outcome of this Elimination Chamber match. I mean, and I asked the question, what's the point in even having this match? It's very clear it's going to be Rhea and Becky at Mania. We all know that. So I will say this. Find way to continue building to what feels like an inevitable Becky and Rhea title match while keeping fans invested in the idea that Nia Jax may throw a wrench into the proceedings. Becky was fantastic here, bringing real emotion to the promo as she reiterated how devoted to the industry she is, despite what it has occasionally cost her. Becky got emotional as she recalled missing her father's funeral because of her dedication to professional wrestling. She discussed the conversations she had with her young daughter about her injuries and how they have affected her role as a mother. The crowd erupted for Rhea's arrival, evidence of how much of a star they believe she is and are willing to treat her as such. So I probably would say second best segment of the night here. I mean, not as good as the other segment, though, but I felt it was a fine segment here. So, we'll wait and see what happens. Then some backstage stuff, and then we move on to the next qualifying match. LA Knight squaring off against Ivar. LA Knight wins the match 8 minutes and 25 seconds. MF, here we go. Another star for this star-studded men's chamber match. McIntyre, Orton, Lashley. And now you can add LA Knight to that mix. Yeah.
It was fitting that Knight got the spot. LA Knight, a lot of people have been complaining that it looks like they're cooling off his momentum, that they're cooling off LA Knight was the biggest name out there, and now all of a sudden he's kind of fallen back on hard times or harking back to hard times a little bit. But LA Knight turned it right around, and all of a sudden here he is back in a big way with a big win. Now he basically has punched his ticket to be a part of what undoubtedly is going to be probably one of the biggest matches of his career, to be locked inside that Elimination Chamber, which I believe he's going to be locked in there for the first time in his career. So, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to watch, and yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So, this was about another 2.5 star bout, and Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it about a 2.5 star match as well. So yeah, there's really not much more I can say about it. So it is yours, Florio.
Yes. It would not have been a surprise if AJ Styles had gotten involved and cost LA Knight the win, given Knight's role in the Phenomenal One's downfall last Friday night against Drew McIntyre. But the leader of the Yeah movement survived Ivar and advanced for the win, ensuring his place in another high-profile main event. Ivar hurled himself at LA Knight, smashing him into the timekeeper's barricade ahead of the commercial break. LA Knight leapt to the top rope and delivered a big superplex to his massive opponent. So 2.5, 2 3/4 for that. And we move on to the main event of the evening. But before we get into that, huge Monday Night Raw for huge Monday Night Raw that will be live from the Honda Center, formerly the Pond in Anaheim, California. Last Chance Women's Battle Royale, alongside the 8-man tag Judgment Day against DIY, R-Truth, and Miz, and 2 huge main events. Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against main event Jey Uso. And then that would be a main event anywhere. However, there's actually a match that's much bigger than that. As great as that is. Cody Rhodes, 1-on-1 with Drew McIntyre. Huge main event. 2 huge main events. But with that, let's move on to the main event of tonight's show. Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura wins the match. 17 minutes, 10 seconds. Michael Bullock, Shinsuke Nakamura getting the win over Sami like he did at the NXT TakeOver Dallas, April of 2016, with a smidgen of help from Drew McIntyre. I mean, it wasn't physical. It was just enough of a distraction.
Yeah, and I think because of that, I'll have to give this 3 3/4 to 4 when it comes to this. I mean, if it weren't for that little bit of distraction by Drew, I would have given it the full 4 by itself. But 3 3/4 to me, I think is the right rating on this. So there's nothing more to say. It is yours, and it's the second best fight of the night. I thought the 8-man tag the 6-man tag was better.
Agreed. Sami Zayn's quest to prove himself as a legitimate contender for the world title took a hit tonight with another big loss, this time to Shinsuke Nakamura, but not without outside interference. Zayn fought his way back into the bout on more than one occasion, showing the trademark gutsiness that has helped make him one of the most beloved superstars of this generation. Late in the bout, an appearance by Drew McIntyre allowed Shinsuke to capitalize on the distraction and deliver Kinshasa for the win in a match that may not have replicated the 2016 NXT Classic between the competitors, but was still a quality main event. The post-match beatdown by the heels and the arrival of Cody Rhodes as a backup for Sammy was a nice touch and added heat to the American Nightmare showdown with Drew McIntyre next week. As I stated before, next week on Raw, Jey Uso versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. DIY, R-Truth and Miz versus the Judgment Day in an 8-man tag. And a last chance battle royale to fill the last spot in the Women's Elimination Chamber bout. Sami Zayn flew over the top rope and wiped Shinsuke out, but also landed hard and nursed his left arm for the remainder of the bout. Hopefully no damage was done. Triple H continues to feature Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Drew McIntyre in main events, building their credibility and ensuring depth behind Cody Rhodes. So, no question about this. It's a 4.25, but I'm gonna slightly bump it down to 4. It was the second best fight of the night here. So there isn't anything else left to say about that. So MF, Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Sami Zayn, 17 minutes, 10 seconds, thanks to a small distraction by Drew McIntyre.
4 stars. Yeah, absolutely correct. I thought it was a solid main event. The body of work, the with everything that was going down, I thought they did an incredible job with it. I thought it was better than expected. So yeah, 4 stars, nothing more to say. Anthony, I guess overall review.
And I will start it off here. This was another quality episode of Raw, in that some stories were executed very well. There was some quality in-ring content, and there was the great promo segment involving Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Stories were advanced, the stars were highlighted appropriately, and the focus was on the building. First, to the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and beyond that, WrestleMania 40. The show has a creative focus that has not always been there on these marathon 3-hour shows, but Triple H and his team appear to have found a stride that is making the flagship as good as it has been in quite some time, thanks to a clear plan. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura are the core competitors for the Red brand, and they have been at the forefront for weeks now. As long as he can continue that, and remember to continue focusing energy in creating stars out of the underutilized, this show will be fine. If not, he risks overexposing his most important stars. Luckily, that has not been a problem under his guidance to this point. I got to give this somewhere between 8 to 8.5 out of 10 tonight. Very good show, to say the very least. And there isn't anything else left for me to say except MF. I mean, the kickoff press conference, last Friday's SmackDown, tonight's Raw, this upcoming Friday's SmackDown, next Monday's Raw. I know I'm going to keep sounding like a broken record, but I don't give a damn. With the way things have been going lately, we're already on the biggest and greatest and most exciting road to WrestleMania ever.
And the thing is that a lot of people were on edge at the very beginning, and then they took it back. Everything started playing good. And, the thing is that they need to make these moves. They need to know that this is going to be the most, it has to be one way or the other. WWE is working their best. They're doing everything that they can. Let's do it. This is WWE. WWE is really making a legit effort to try to make this the best ever. So I'm good with it. So at the end of the day, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But this is an 8 out of 10. The momentum is definitely there, to say the very least. So I liked it. I thought they're doing really good with it. We just got to see how it plays out down the line. But I will say this. If they can pull it off, we'll see. Nothing more to say. So far, WWE, like you said, has been hitting it on on all cylinders. So, Anthony, it's Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh, is this the overall review?
Yes.
All right. Well, I thought this was a good, a very good edition of Raw. 8.5 for me as well. I mean, yeah, there were some things that I think could have been better, but all in all, not really that much to complain about. So it's yours, Florio.
All right, we move on to a quick Tony's take. Impact Wrestling starts it off. Started off with Chris Sabin squaring off against John Skyler. Chris Sabin wins the match. 2-star effort for that one. Tasha Steelz against Zaya Brookside. Tasha Steelz wins that match. That was a 2 3/4 star match. Speedball Mike Bailey against Zachary Wentz. Zachary Wentz wins the match. Solid 3 stars. Trinity. Now, this was Naomi's last match in Impact Wrestling. They filmed this well before the Royal Rumble. Trinity and the Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace against Giselle Shaw and Savannah Evans. Trinity and Jordynne Grace win the match. That was another 3-star match. Khan against Richard Adonis and Ori Gold. That was a squash. And then Josh Alexander against Alan Angels. Josh Alexander wins that match. That was a 2-star effort. Main event, Alex Shelley against Eddie Edwards. Alex Shelley wins the match. Solid 3 stars. It was a 7 out of 10. Decent show. Great match between Bailey and Wentz. And a match between Bailey and Trent Seven versus the Rascals should be great. Seeing Trinity on the show made it feel a little dated. And she also got the win there. Seeing Simon Gotch debut was interesting. And they've obviously got big plans for him if he's starting out against Josh Alexander. Solid match between Alex Shelley and Eddie Edwards. And I don't think they've wrestled each other in singles competition that often. Eddie Edwards is capable of main eventing, but I feel he needs a refresh in terms of his character. Great to see Shelley building momentum before his match against Moose for the World Heavyweight Championship at No Surrender. That's a solid 7 out of 10. Let's get into we'll get into NXT Level Up and then we'll call it a night here. Kalani Jordan against Stevie Turner. Kalani Jordan wins in 4:38. It was decent, and I've enjoyed seeing Jordan improve. The crowd is getting behind her, and I'm curious to see where she goes from here. Little clunky in spots. 1 3/4 of it was a 1 3/4 star match. Javier Bernal against Keanu Carver. Javier Bernal in 3:59. Solid little match. I'm intrigued by Carver, as we always need big, meaty men. I was thinking Bernal winning was an upset, but it's Level Up where the newbies tend to eat losses early in their careers. 2 stars. Tavion Heights against Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne in 5:16. I'm not sure what happened there, as they had a few places where things didn't go right and they seemed out of sync. Sometimes that can be covered to make it look like a fight, but not here. Finish was okay, as the crew didn't interfere as much as they made Heights overthink what he wanted to do next, and he got caught. 1.5. 5 out of 10. It was looking like just your ordinarily average episode of Level Up, but that main event was disappointing. They have more to offer than that, and just seemed like a bad day at the office. Just got to move on and tear it up the next time. It's always, as always, it's an easy watch as long as you know what to expect from the show. So 5 out of 10 for that. And with that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again Wednesday night, 10:30. MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, Wednesday Night Madness, NXT, AEW Dynamite. Friday night, it is the season premiere of TXN Sports World regulation shows. We will recap Super Bowl 58. Oh boy, we got a lot to say about that. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to call a small audible here. I know I had mentioned about us, getting into the NHL skills competition and All-Star game. I'm gonna bump that, and I believe since there's going to be no AEW Collision this weekend because of the NBA All-Star coverage, I figure maybe we may do a special crossover and do a Friday night SmackDown review on Friday night in addition to our Super Bowl recap. And then in the main event, it will be our preview of NBA All-Star Saturday night and the NBA All-Star game. So,
all right, I'm good with that. And then, but we still need to do the NHL stuff. We'll just move it to the next week after that.
Sure, absolutely. So, yeah, it's because of the fact there's no AEW Collision this weekend because of the NBA All-Star coverage. So, I figured we could get a SmackDown review in there. So, so we'll do that on Friday night, and then of course Monday night. Next Monday night, we do it all again. Ridiculously Raw, the go-home show for the Elimination Chamber. You know the matches by now, so cannot wait to get into that show. That's a mini pay-per-view waiting to happen next week. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, Anthony Florio here for Gorilla MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and of course, always and forever, the Twisted Angel, the first lady of this show, Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days, and until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye. And don't forget, as I always say, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. Now, for everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, bye, everybody, bye.